Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today I want to talk about Purple Value Engine. And my favorite topic, my favorite deck engine for Purple, just playing things for free, getting lots of free value out of Purple. And we kind of get a new addition to this strategy in EX7 that debatably makes it whole, and that is LadyDevimon X-antibody. So I want to talk about this engine, kind of what it wants to do, and some cards that go well with it now that I think EX7 kind of fully fleshes it out. So obviously, we have our Ignitemons. When you play Digimon by an effect, gain a memory. That's the whole point of the engine. One way or another, we want to play a rookie or another Digimon by an effect and get memory. So Ignite is probably the best Digimon in this engine to do that with because it is all turns, not just your turn. So if by some effect you do manage to get a body on the opponent's turn, this will also trigger. Then we have Labramon. When this plays a Digimon by an effect, you gain a memory just on your turn. So it's redundancy with the Ignitemon. I do like that there are two rookies that work in this engine because it leaves you a slot for your flex rookie that kind of goes in archetype or provides whatever utility you really want, which is super nice. Then we have Cerberusmon X, which does the same thing as Labramon, gains you a memory when you play by an effect. In a perfect world, we're going to have this in a stack with Labramon or Ignitemon to gain 2 memory off of going into our level 5. Won't always happen, of course, but we should hopefully at least have one or the other. And in conjunction with X-antibody protoform, it should almost always be possible to get into your level 5 for 1 memory. And because this is an X-antibody as well, we're going to be able to get into this for 1, which is also really, really good, just in general. This does, of course, leave open 2 champion slots for you to use with whatever deck that you want to play, but that's kind of where you get to get creative and fill in the slots. For our level 5s, we have the Cerberusmon X antibody. I didn't really use this card before in favor of using cards like Bastimon because it was just kind of inconvenient to be going for Cerberusmon X or the protoform, and if you didn't have this card specifically, then you're running 2 other redundancy pieces that don't do anything, because if you don't have Cerberus X, your protoform is a dead card, kind of. I mean, you can still use it on Dober X, but that's not really what we're looking for. But you can't use it with Cerberusmon, which is kind of hard. But if you protoform into this, you're going to get to draw 1, then trash 1, so you can trash a level 3, and then activate the on-play to play a level 3 Digimon, which will trigger your level 4, your level 3 inheritable, and gain you 2 memory back. With the protoform that Evo costs 2, so you're basically, well, not basically, you are going into your level 5 for 0, which is really strong and really fast. And then the inheritable is also really good. Obviously, being able to delete the body you just played to get 2 checks in, if you're playing something more aggressive, that's really good. And it's a really, really powerful inheritable to have. And now that we have access to LadyDevimon X antibody, what changes in this engine is that we have a guaranteed way to get a level 5 that can cost 0. And the only real big hitch is that you have to have a copy of X-antibody protoform now, which we'll talk about when we get there. It can be a little bit worse or better, depending on your perspective, but this will also play you a body. It's going to play the Voli and Zerdruken token. That counts as playing a Digimon, so you're going to get 2 memory back off of this as well. With the protoform, that should cost 0 and trigger all inheritables. Also, the inheritable under this is really good because you're playing a Retaliate blocker, and it's very likely that this will be able to go off and net you a level 4 back from trash, which is just great. Then obviously you run your 4 copies of Wisdom Training for the search engine, and then we have X-antibody protoform. You get to place it under a Digimon without X-antibody and its Digivolution cards, and Evo into a card with the X-antibody trait with the cost reduced by 1, and then when that Digimon dies, you take a Digimon back from its sources, and you put this card in your security. It's really nice. It gives Purple some longevity in an archetype where we traditionally need longer to set up, which is kind of a counterbalance to that, and you can stack out your bottom end to be a little bit more defensive in your level 4s, probably not in your level 3s, but mostly in your level 4s to compensate for taking longer to find this piece. But the real difficulty in this engine comes now from the fact that you cannot really search this unless you want to run Cool Boys, just for the heck of it. But you're going to whiff this with Analog Youth, you're going to whiff this with your trainings, and you're going to whiff it with your memory boost, and that's tricky. The exchange that you make for that, obviously, is that you can go, if you have a rookie in a training, you are totally allowed to just go training into the 4. You're going to draw 1 trash 1 off the Dober. If you're running Suno, you're going to get to cycle an additional card, and then you protoform into either of these level 5s. And now you're digivolving, you're going to play a body, you're going to get 2 memory back, so that now costs 0. And then you can either Evo into the level 6 on your second turn, which is fantastic. Or if you have the Alice set up, you can sack the Digimon that you play by effect, and then do something with your level 6, like swing for aggressive checks or whatever. I don't know how much of a place this card has in this engine anymore, because you kind of don't need it. If you're getting into your level 5 for free, I mean, a lot of decks really don't mind just going into the 6 and passing. If you obviously want to pop your extra body to go into the 6 for free, That's good too, but I don't really like that this now takes an extra turn of setup on a strategy that became faster. It kind of didn't feel bad before because you needed basically 2 turns of setup. Turn 3, you're going to pop off and do your thing. Now you're exchanging the ability to have a turn 2 pop off for the turn 3 pop off. So I just don't know if this is necessary. I think it's going to feel better in some decks than others, though. Obviously, decks that really like this engine are cards with generically strong level 6s, like Anubismon. The faster you get into this card, the better off you are. So this also synergizes super well with all of our memory gain inheritables. There's no reason not to run this card in this engine. It's just good as a one of in the deck. So obviously, Anubismon is great with everything. So, big surprise there. LadyDevimon, great generic level 5. You get into this guy quickly, you're threatening your 2 checks. If you manage to get into this and keep turn, which you're probably not doing because he costs 5 to Evo, but you're going to Digivolve, pop bodies, and then swing 2 checks. That's really good. And if you run this, I mean, we have the ability to cycle cards. You can run this with the Biting Crush and the Anubismon, and it might be enough to make this card relevant again. Who knows? But it makes the card faster, and obviously aggressive cards that make it to their level 6 faster are going to appreciate that more because you're going to get to start swinging those aggressive checks much sooner. Another really interesting card, SkullMammothmon. So if you're going to go up the stack, we're just going to assume in all these situations that you get the God Hand and you make it all the way up to your 5 on turn 2 with the X-antibody protoform. You Evo into this with the Alice on board. So you sack the extra Digimon, you get into the SkullMammothmon, you're going to draw 1 trash one. Then you're going to get to play a free level 4 or lower from your trash without paying the cost. And if you manage to keep turn when doing that, because you Evo with Alice and your total memory investment is 1, you go back into the Cerberus X and you're ready to go right back into another SkullMammothmon, which is great because the more SkullMammothmons you get on board, this effect is going to trigger when all your other SkullMammothmons trigger. So if you get your first SkullMammothmon to stick and you make it back to your turn with that SkullMammothmon on board and you make it to a second one, now you get 2 level 4 bodies on board, and you get to just start going and going and doing whatever you want. Which I think is really interesting that this uncommon from a starter deck just suddenly has the potential to be kind of a swarmy boss monster. To a similar extent, Titamon from BT6, when Digivolving, trash a card, then play a level 4 lower Digimon from trash without paying its cost. You sack the extra body with the Alice to get into this, and then pitch a card. You have a level 4 on board, and you're going to swing 2 checks because you pitched a card with Titamon. It's basically doing the 2 checks that LadyDevimon would do, but giving you wide board at the same time. You're not going to manage to go quite as wide as SkullMammothmon, but you're going to be much more aggressive for it. I would probably be running this in a deck with SkullMammothmon, with one of these 2, probably Titamon because I like the more aggression, but one of these 2 as the primary boss monster and the other one as a secondary. It just kind of makes sense to me. It seems like it's going to benefit these generic bosses that want to get to the 6 fast and then stick and do things. If you hit this on board before your opponent can answer it, with whatever form of removal their deck might have, you're going to get to do fun stuff, which is awesome. Also, BT4 Anubismon, playing level 3s from trash. I mean, every time you play something from trash, this is going to give it rush. So there's no reason this isn't great. I mean, hitting it quickly and then playing a level 3 and now it has rush. Cool. If you don't pop it, you can Evo back into level 5 and you play another token or another body off of that body. You're going to start getting a lot of wide rush bodies and swinging a lot of checks. Cerberusmon, another really interesting card. I mean, these not very good cards are suddenly, there's a way to play them, I think. On play, when Digivolving, pop a level 4 or lower. Cool. When an effect deletes another Digimon, you play a level 5 or lower Digimon card with undead or dark animal from your trash without paying the cost. Okay, so now, big brain moment. Let's not use our Alice. Let's leave our token on the board when we Digivolve into this, or our level 3 if we play it off Cerberus X. We pop that if there's nothing on the opponent's board to pop. Hopefully they'll have some chump change that we can pop. But let's say they don't. We pop our own token. Okay, level 5 or lower with Dark Animal trait. I think I've seen that before. Cerberusmon X antibody, Dark Animal. So we're going to pop something. Even if we have to pop our own token, we're going to pop something. We're going to get the Cerberus X. What does Cerberus X do on play? He's going to play us a level 3. So we're losing 1 body to go up into 2 more bodies. Now we're 3 wide. You can see how that might get out of hand relatively quickly. Also, this is not just when Digivolving. It's just when an effect deletes another Digimon, you play a level 5 or lower Digimon card. So you can run this with a bunch of self-sack outlets and pop your tokens as you're going into your level 5s, like with Alice, for example, if you already have a Cerberusmon on board, and you're just going to get free bodies off of it by playing out the Cerberus X and then using that Cerberus X to play more bodies. So what is there to complain about? It just makes Cerberusmon wideboard possible, which is so weird. I feel like it wasn't intended for that, but here we go. And then obviously all these strategies that get us to a level 6 really, really fast. Bring Omnimon's Wart back into the conversation. If you can make it to Omnimon's Wart really quickly, like I said with Alice, I mean, granted, the Alice conversation says that if you play Alice, you're going to turn 3 pop off. But if you go second, you can actually still get the turn 2 pop off with Alice. Your first turn being the second turn, you play the Alice and the training, as long as they give you 2 memory to work with, which is really common. And then on your second turn, which is turn 4 of the game, you can make it up into your level 6 without passing because of the Alice, and then you could go into the Zwart. Well, Zwart is going to let you play 2 play cost or 8 black or purple Digimon. This has a play cost of 8, and on play, it's going to give one of your opponent's Digimon end of attack delete this Digimon. So now you've stuck the Zwart on board. You're going to have 2 LadyDevimon X's on board and an Alice, and your opponent's not going to be able to swing with whatever they've got on board, and they've suddenly got to answer a level 7 and 2 level 5s without attacking. And if those stick, I mean, let's pretend. Let's say you're playing your Titamon SkullMammothmon deck. Uh-oh, now we have a problem because these guys want to go wide as well. And you've suddenly just taken these really, really kind of trash cards and turned them into a really threatening deck. So I think that's super interesting, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. What do you think about purple value? Do you think this is going anywhere? Do you think this being non-searchable is just too big of a hurdle for this deck to go over and it just locks this into this 4 fun category? And do you think it's fine if this is in a 4 fun category? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.